So 12 years after the Taft-Hartley Act, then we ended up having the Landrum-Griffith Act, and it was, I mean, to give you a little background, and if you know any history or anything, you know that, you know, the 40s and 50s, and probably even back in the 30s when unions really getting going, there was a lot of outside influence on those unions, and think about the mafia. If you go watch some old black and white movies about the mafia and unions, you'll see the relationship, and I'm sure the movies dramatize it, but there was some real strong ties, and what happened is the mafia was dominating unions. Okay, they were the heads of the unions, they were running the unions, and they were, you know, basically telling employers what to do as a result too, and also the employees, and they were taking in the employee dues and on, and so it was a little bit shady, to say the least. And so in '59, the Landrum-Griffith Act, which was passed, which governed internal union operations, and it was reaction to corruption by union officials, because union members didn't know anything about where their money was going or anything. So now unions got to keep track, right? They have to keep good financial records, and union members are entitled to those records. Union workers now have the right in '59 to vote for their union leadership. That was important. They have a right to sue their union if need be, if they feel like they're not being represented properly. Okay, they get a money judgment against union assets, so could sue for damages if there was an illegal strike ordered by the union leaders, sue for breach of duty, okay, failing to enforce union constitution, et cetera, et cetera. So some of these would probably be, you know, just lawsuits for specific performance as opposed to any kind of monetary, but it could be monetary as well, right? So labor unions themselves can have unfair practices, right? They can't restrain or coerce an employee to join a union, especially in those right-to-work states, right? I guess especially any place, but of course in a union, like we're not a right-to-work state, so you can't be forced anyhow. But they can't cause an employer to discriminate against a non-union member. And you still have a lot of workplaces where there may be some union and some non-union. I know Triangle Telephone, Hill County Electric's like that. I think a lot of their line crews and those folks are union members, but their office staff and whatnot is not. And so, you know, they can't, the union members can't pick on the non-union members, I guess, and go through management to do that. Striking or picketing for illegal purposes, engaging in secondary boycotts, and that would be, you know, perhaps forcing your union members to boycott a company that did business with your company, right? That's not fair, okay, and so that's definitely not allowed. Well, this comes up in a little bit, so I'll leave that, but jurisdictional strikes are illegal too, where you can't have a strike because this union is supposed to be doing this job versus another union. There are still industries where you might have separate unions within that industry. You might have a pipe fitters and you might have an electricians union, and you can't have jurisdictional strikes to determine who should be doing what job. Okay, that can be a part of negotiations. You can try to figure that out, but you can't go on strike, okay, to cause those things to happen. So again, secondary boycotts, right? Union and management agreement with adverse effect on a third party. So even if they agree, okay, in most cases the NLRB has ruled that these are improper, okay, as secondary boycotts, even if they're agreed to by management. So, and why would management agree? Well, they may be kind of forced by their own union, right? Either you maybe don't. I guess that's another type of secondary boycott too, where they would say, hey, you don't do business with this other business because for whatever reason, you know, maybe their employees are having a dispute and we're supporting them. Okay, something like that would also be a secondary boycott, and it would be illegal. Hot cargo contracts are also a type of a secondary boycott and are largely illegal as well, where union members might refuse to handle a cargo from maybe a non-union carrier or a union carrier that's having a dispute with their employees. Okay? And again, mostly those are illegal. Or picketing when not certified then is also illegal. Okay? So employers, if an employer recognizes another union, then the losers, I guess, in that case can't picket, right? If the valid election is already conducted, and the election occurs outside the valid time frame. That's it. That's it for unions. Actually, that's it. I think we're done. So thanks. Good luck on the last test, and have a good winter break, and we'll see a lot of you in the spring.